Hello, you're the expert.
Yeah, I was just calling in about the environmentalists. You know, when they show pictures of, up in Washington and Oregon of all the trees that are wiped out. You know, the environmentalists say, you know, they're wiping out the forest, but that's one of the best things that can be done so that new trees can grow. And also, the ratio of trees cut down to trees planted is like 1 to 5. I mean, it's just common sense that the loggers are gonna replant trees, because if they don't, they're gonna be out of a job. And that's just one area where the environmentalists are wrong.
Well, you know, I planted a mesquite tree 10 years ago, and it was about this big. About there we go. About this big when I planted it, and now the thickest it gets is about like this, you know, and that's like 10 years. It takes a long time for a tree, and mesquite is one of the faster growing trees. You know, it takes a long time for those trees to get back to the size that they need to be if you're going to get, you know, 1 by 11s and like that.
Right, but I mean, it's just common sense that they're gonna plant more trees so that, you know, they're not out of a job, you know, 5, 10, 15 years down the road.
That's right. It is common sense, and yet it wasn't.
That wasn't the case.
It was forced.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly the point. Is that it is common sense, but they didn't do it.
Well, they're doing it now.
Because the wacko environmentalists force the government to force them to do it.
And did you guys hear about the guy on I think it was Greenpeace who got caught smuggling like 42 tons of marijuana?
No.
Did you hear about that?
No.
No, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, some guy he was arrested, and he's a member of Greenpeace. So.
Well, that's unfortunate, and I mean, and that's only fitting because marijuana is green and it does promote peace. So
are you in favor of legalizing drugs?
Oh, marijuana definitely.
Yeah, I'm in favor of legalizing drugs.
Have you guys ever seen somebody that's frying on heroin, or heard stories about how it takes, you know, 6 police officers to take one person down because of the drugs they're doing?
Well, you know, my first wife was addicted to heroin. So it was after we broke up, and you know, I saw her go through the whole thing of being addicted to heroin and go through recovery, and now she's, you know, made an amazing recovery, and you know, she's a much stronger person for it. You know, I wouldn't advise that as a good learning procedure for everybody to go through. But the thing is that the government really has no right to defend us from that kind of growing experience that she went through.
Yeah, but if that's gonna hurt or kill somebody else, you don't have a right to do it.
Well, but, you know, as Eddie said, his ex-wife was a heroin addict, and heroin was illegal. So that tells you right there, prohibition doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you know, a couple callers ago, they were asking you if you were Jewish or not, and well, I'm Jewish, and you guys kind of dodged the question, and I just want to say, if you guys are Jewish, you shouldn't be ashamed of it.
No, we're not.
Oh, no, we're not Jewish.
He's Italian and I'm Spanish.
Yeah. Oh, and it had nothing to do with shame. But what happens is it's if for instance, if you were to ask and you were to, you know, just ask it, you know, are you Jewish? You know. Well, we could answer that, you know, but it's almost like buying into somebody's trip.
That's right. That's exactly it. It's like if we went along and answered what he wanted, then, you know, it would have just made a bigger thing out of it than it needed to be.
And one last question. Who do you guys think runs the United States? Besides George Bush. Honestly.
I don't think it's any one group. Definitely not one person. I think it's you know, the push and pull of interests, and the more powerful of them have the more say of what happens. Chief among them is, you know, the military-industrial complex, which is not just, you know, a monolith, but it's, you know, a bunch of different companies that are working out for their own self-interest, and having that self-interest means having a military police state.
And what do you think about us giving $3 billion a year to Israel?
I think that stinks.
It stinks?
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, good. I
think Israel ought to be cut off you know, until, well, just for good. We have no business. I mean, we have people starving on our streets. What are we doing arming the world?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
And not just Israel, you know, don't, you know,
not
you
just
picked
Israel.
Israel, but I mean, there are other countries that can be
Yeah, El
included on
Salvador
that
too.
list.
You know, any petty tyrant that we choose to arm. In fact, we armed Hussein himself.
Yeah. All right, thanks a lot.
Okay, thank
Thanks
you.
for calling.